Hi everybody, welcome to a special bonus episode of Nobody's Watching Wrestling. We're going to review a classic match. I'm Ariel Italic.
I'm Lady Barrick Andrews.
I'm in the corner for some reason.
And we have a special guest who you already recognize, professional wrestler Colt Cabana. Oh my God, we are starstruck and a little sweaty. Most of that's about you, some of that's just because it's hot out. But Colt picked a match for us, and we would do whatever he said.
So I picked Lanny Poffo, who was portraying the character of the Genius, wrestling Hulk Hogan on Saturday Night's Main Event. And I remember watching this match because I do comedy wrestling, but I got into comedy because I would stay up Saturday nights and hope every time it would be Saturday Night's Main Event, but sometimes it would be Saturday Night Live. And so, which I feel is the other way around for so many people.
I only do serious things, so I don't understand.
So let's talk about this match. Hulk Hogan, obviously, I was familiar with. The Genius, nothing.
And I appreciate that you wore Hulk's colors today.
That was 100% intentional.
Right.
Too.
I wore a fucking singlet.
Yeah.
Give me praise. I'd like to back up. Oh, thank you so much. You've obviously seen our show, and we do appreciate many forms of baiting, but you were definitely baiting us with this match, weren't you?
Yeah, I don't know if it was wrong to do, like, I don't know if it's like, ugh, like
Like I said, we appreciate all the baiting.
Okay, yeah.
You're in a safe space.
Right. And
I say while non-consensually touching you.
Yeah, I mean, because Lanny is so effeminate in this, and I think there's like, if that's what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking
It
about.
is challenging.
Yes. So much flair.
And it's so, there's such a border of like, I don't think he's portraying like a homosexual or anything. Like,
He is.
Oh, yeah, he
oh
definitely
yeah?
Yeah.
He definitely
That was
is.
clearly what was happening.
But I don't think the character, the Genius, is a homosexual.
No,
He's coded
I was like,
as
we're
one.
queer coding the villain.
Yeah.
Which is, we'll get this. That's too serious for this particular episode. But like, Google that because that's what's happening. It's like Scar in The Lion King, where he's not gay, but he's gay and he's the bad guy. So it's okay to hit him. 'Cause
Queers
he's, like,
are scary.
I mean, we are. But he's also weirdly, it's not just that he's effeminate, but he's like a 6-year-old girl effeminate. Like the way
Totally,
he's
he was like prancing.
gymnastics mode, and I was just like, I have
Prancercising.
seen like little cousins do this exact gymnastics.
I mean,
routine.
we
It
were
was-
doing it when we were kids. I'm sure we can pull up photos.
He's weirdly graceful though.
Yeah.
Like there
So-
was, like, especially
so
in,
acrobatic.
Like, yeah.
And I don't think this match gets enough love. This is one of my, if not my favorite matches. And so I guess if there is kind of like effeminate wrestlers over the year that you guys, that y'all.
You can say guys. You can say guys.
Y'all is actually my favorite pronoun.
Right, when it comes in terms of like, I'm sure Adrian Adonis and Adrian Street, or you know, the
Yeah.
list of Gold Dust, right? The list of those wrestlers portraying those characters. This is where he really comes out the most effeminate. The Genius does, and I don't think a lot of people put him in. They don't know his line of work as this character to put him in that much because he didn't wrestle a lot as the Genius. He was mostly a manager.
Really?
Yes.
I actually really like this character. And I also appreciate that maybe if he was coded as queer, he was also very smart.
Yes.
Smart.
True. Did you get the like? Obviously, you didn't read him as gay when you were a kid, but like, what of it did you understand what was happening there?
Watching it now, you mean?
Or now or back then when you watched it when you were younger?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
Well, I mean, character-wise, it seems like there's...
The Genius.
Has there anybody
He's
been
smarter
like
than
him?
everybody. Well, he would come out with like a robe and like
Yeah.
he was an educated man because before he was leaping Lanny Poffo and he would always write poems and he would throw them out on frisbees. That was
Well, he
his
did
thing
a
before.
poem at the beginning of this match too. Like,
And he's
still
talking
keeps
about
the
like
poetry thing.
we're making this highbrow. It's no longer for I don't remember the poem, but you can look
He
it
had a
up.
really highbrow haircut.
Ooh.
Yeah, he was just a bad guy, but just a little. If I was 7 watching it,
Right.
I would.
He was interesting.
7-year-old me would say he was like a little weird and quirky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, interesting.
That's how I would take it.
Yes, so are we.
I mean,
As a straight boy from the suburbs, I don't know.
same.
I was super impressed though that he was so good at the gymnastic stuff. Like it was a gag, but he like really could do all that shit. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't just like a shitty cartwheel. Like he did some great flips and like He did. He had an actual elegance to his movement that I was like, well, way to commit, sir.
Well, there was one point where he rolled into the ring so
Yes,
much.
it was so gorgeous.
Yes.
Given his lineage and how good of a wrestler he was, I'm surprised like Lanny didn't like make it.
Well, so he's the brother of the Macho Man Randy Savage, and it is on record that while he was wrestling Hulk here, first of all, you should go. Well, I did a podcast with him. I think it's on the internet. You should go listen to it.
Podcast.
But he is a wonderful human being.
I listened to a couple things, and he sounds like he sounds really intelligent.
Yes.
He sounds really thoughtful,
And he was like, I never took steroids in my life, except there was an 8-month period where I knew I would be wrestling Hulk Hogan, and I decided that my body should look the part. If ever there was going to be a time for me to make money in this industry, it would be then. So like, this is where we see him on a little steroids to make him look
I
good.
listened to some sort of thing where he was talking about his steroid use, and like the thing that brought him out of it, he's like looked down at his junk and he was like, "Oh, this has got to stop."
Oh.
Also, not one of you guys said anything about my Lanny Poffo impression.
Do you want to do it again?
Yeah, each of you do.
Poems are good. Poems are great. I am here to make you late.
Okay, I'll just do a backflip over this chair. No, that's not gonna work. I
She's
tried
leaving, everyone.
it. You know.
Roses are red, violets are blue. I want to wrestle you.
Yes. Back to the match.
Wait, what did you think about Hulk Hogan's skin color and/or skin?
Oh my God, it was so much.
He's just like, the turkey is done.
Like seriously.
It's weird for me because, like, as a kid, I really liked Hulk Hogan, and now
The best.
Everybody
I can't
did.
think of him without thinking of all the garbage that's happened.
But at that, like if you watch this now, I would say Lanny Poffo is the better wrestler.
Oh, clearly.
So much
Yeah,
better.
he's killing it.
Hulk is
Such a
not,
good-
he
I wanna
likes
watch
a scoop
more.
slam, and that's about it.
And in that video, Hulk is the god.
Yeah.
Yeah, the crowd goes nuts for him. Everyone loves him, and that, like, it does build the excitement. Like, watching it, I couldn't help but get caught up in that. I was like, oh, we love this guy.
Yeah.
But I love the sneaky entrance of, what's his name, Mr. Perfect?
Mr. Perfect,
Yeah.
another one who I was unfamiliar with, but he sold the character right away.
Yeah.
Like, sticking the gum on the
gum.
belt.
Oh,
Such a good detail that I was like, yep, I know who this is. I know that guy.
Mr. Perfect is known for having a singlet, and he had a because he had that neon singlet. I'm not
Yeah,
sure the one he
uh-huh.
wore, but you would always just see you could always see it poking. I don't know if we can get this.
I didn't even
I
look.
feel a
Oh,
little
it was just-
Oh my
just
god.
like a little thumb. You could always see
Just
like a
a
little
little
thumb.
thumb.
Yes.
Like a
I
little
can't
smush.
believe I didn't clock that.
Go back and watch some Mr. Perfects, and you'll.
Oh no,
always-
sold.
Yeah.
I mean, also feel like camera people are a little bit more crotch aware these days because they know their audience.
Finn specifically knows his angles to show
Finn
off.
knows
things,
his angles.
so-
Oh my god. Yeah, he always gives you like a couple good booty shots and a couple good crotchals.
I mean, it's just built into his entrance.
He did an Instagram post yesterday. And
Oh,
I,
yeah.
Nope, don't
and
think I didn't repost it.
Well, don't think I didn't message him and go you just made a lot of groups happy, and I
Thank you, Finn.
got about 7 ha-has back from that one.
Aw, tell him we say
You
hi.
have his phone number. Somebody distract him with still.
So back to Mr. Perfect. I felt let down by his entrance only because then the Genius didn't really get to win on his own. Like the
I
Genius,
like the sneakiness of it because that's all. Like that's how that match was gonna be won.
but then the Genius doesn't get to outsmart him.
But
I wanted him to
It
be out.
kind of was an outsmarting.
Tricked him.
This was an era when Hulk Hogan beats everybody.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
was a really big deal that the Genius won. And that's the Genius wasn't a high-profile wrestler.
Was this his first appearance?
Not his first appearance, but I mean, he was on the lower card. He was never a big star. And he was Mr. Perfect's manager, actually. And this was supposed to go into this big feud with Mr. Perfect and Hulk Hogan for the title, which I guess really didn't happen. I don't know.
Also, Lanny gives big props to Hulk Hogan for helping his career too,
Yeah.
which I thought was a cool little extra. I studied this time, guys.
So there's a point in the match where I believe the Genius goes outside and he's like, ugh, I'm doing something wrong. And so he grabs his pen and paper.
Yes, yes.
Right?
Does some math.
He does
Big equation.
a math equation.
It's brilliant.
And then what is I don't know if that's the answer, but eventually he writes Hulk down with an exclamation point. So there's some mass, there's some division, a greater and equal sign, and then the answer is Hulk down.
Yeah.
He comes in the ring, arm drags him right away. Like
I mean, I don't think that wrestling is math-based. That was the funniest thing to me is that, like, the way they were selling him as smart was a very, like, episode of Cheers way of selling him as smart. It was very, like, he's Fraser Crane. He has, like, a posh accent and does math. But,
was
like,
doing some
nothing about him was smart.
He was doing some elementary school iambic pentameter, like, just like intro to Shakespeare.
What do you think those numbers could mean?
I don't know. We should go back and look. Surely we have a mathematician out there that can do
There
this
was
math.
a greater than sign, so I think he was trying to figure out his weight versus Hulk's weight.
That was the first math equation I ever learned.
Was the one that the genius did?
No, yes.
Hulk down?
I went
310 pounds over 6 foot 8 inches.
Oh.
Equal or is less than.
I told you I was looking at this during the match.
And Hulk Hogan was always billed at 6'8", 310.
Right.
What's the relationship between the Genius and Mr. Perfect? Like, how do those two know each other? They don't seem to make sense as a pair.
No, they make all the sense.
Oh, tell me more.
Mr. Perfect is perfect, and the genius is the smartest man.
Genius.
Yeah, he's
smartest
the
man in the world.
Okay, so I thought that the Mr.
How do I
Perfect
know
thing was
things?
ironic, only because his literal first move was to put gum on something. So I just assumed he was supposed to be a garbage
But here's the
person.
smart thing. You go first.
Mr. Perfect's debut vignettes was him grabbing a football, throwing it down the field, then running
And catching.
as the football was in the air 100 yards and catching his own pass and pointing the camera. Now that's perfect.
That is perfect.
Okay.
Also,
Perfect.
they
Got it.
knew that Hulk Hogan is easily distracted. He just needed a little gum on his belt, and he was out the ring.
I like how that's the ultimate. Oh, my belt!
Just can't put gum on a belt.
Great Hulk Hogan. See the compliments that come? That's what we want. That's what we want.
Thank you.
Nothing for my Pafo. Nothing.
You're great.
For my genius impression. That's all I wanted.
It's great.
Yeah, but you say that
Oh,
now.
We're gonna end the video with a
Guys-
segment of all of us just giving a wonderful
Complimenting
compliment.
Colt. Yeah.
Say
sounds
nice
good.
things about his Lanny impression.
Yeah,
Thank
in
you.
the comments below, say what you love about Colt. I mean, he's got like a great big arm. Oh my god, he's just pulsed in my hand. Look at this shade of
Oh
fun
my
on.
God!
Like
What is happening?
see, what's not to love? You could take him home to mom.
Hey, nice.
It's,
I want to work on this for y'all.
Now, a lot of my fans know because I wear a singlet, is I hate the number one thing that I hate in all of wrestling is when my nipples get exposed.
Oh, really? Why?
So I have to cover, like you want them covered up.
Have you ever tried wearing a bra?
No, I haven't.
it'd keep him down.
Oh, God.
Wait.
So with this singlet, yeah, you want to, if this was me in this situation here,
If you come to my live shows, this is just normal.
we want to cover those nips.
Well, this is made by a gay designer, 10 Yards Clothing, and
Doesn't
he
matter.
doesn't like nipples not showing.
But if you're going to be wrestling,
So do I use like some double-sided tape?
no, but
Like some Rihanna
There we
shit?
there you go.
Some
See-
Cher Rihanna?
Got it.
Wow.
Any closing thoughts?
I'm curious, like, why this is one of your favorite matches.
Yes.
Okay, so
I mean, obviously it's excellent.
I'm a comedy wrestler.
Right.
I love comedy. I love comedy in wrestling. That's what I do. I want to make people laugh. And I thought at that time where it was so serious, Lanny Poffo was so ahead of his, I thought ahead of the times where he was doing a match where it was humorous, but also you were able to take it serious. And I guess I'm sorry if the humor, at least for me, is the affirmative.
Oh, do you need to
Effeminate?
apologize?
Yeah,
Okay.
what are you apologizing
I don't know what
for?
I'm
80s
apologizing.
homophobia?
Yeah.
It's not your fault.
That's, you couldn't have done a thing about it.
But he does like things where like Hulk will lie back and he'll like things that naturally made me laugh. Like
Right.
I think there was real laugh out loud moments.
Totally.
In a match that was also taken very serious. That also looked like a competitive match. Like they were like you got the idea they were really competing, but also there were so many moments where the genius I just thought was hilarious. I thought
I was
his
more-
comedic timing. I thought his comedic timing was great. And
Immediately what I thought is like the dandy in vaudeville, which you can't be mad at, it's history. And also I was more offended by Hulk's reactions and his like
Yeah,
mocking
Hulk
of
making
the, like,
fun of him was
that
way
was
worse than anything the
and
character
I
was doing.
and I'd say Hulk Hogan is like a leader. So like, if that makes it, like whatever he says, people are gonna be like, yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Say your prayers, take your vitamins, beat up
Beat
the
up a gay,
homosexuals.
yeah.
Spray
That's-
tan.
Totally.
I don't think that was spray tan. That was hours on
Yeah,
Venice
that's
Beach.
like I live in Florida all the time.
Colt, what is your spray tan regimen?
Oh, I used to go, my tanning place just closed. And I would go, it was a Versa spot, and you'd go here, 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 and then turn around.
They have the, like the poses on the wall.
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
turn.
yeah, yeah.
Colt
Now
just won a
turn.
Vogue battle.
Oh!
I
The gay
10.
community.
And so,
across the board.
and now I have this tan in the bottle that I don't like as much, and it's the stuff that the Young Bucks use. If you ever see them, they're like disgustingly spray tanny.
Are you allowed to say that?
They're disgustingly spray tanny?
Or just like, I feel like this is a Protect the Biz moment where we're not supposed to know how they get this
How-
tan.
Oh, I think
We're
that-
not the biz.
Oh, I think they tell the world. That's
Oh,
that's
okay.
not a secret.
All right.
Yeah, I made fun of them on commentary for getting more in the front than their back, and
Where can we find your cabana?
oh well, I mean, I am on YouTube right here.
Yes,
This is my link,
that right there.
my YouTube page.
Uh-huh.
It's a lot of work for somebody in editing there, so.
You're welcome.
At Colt Cabana, Twitter and Instagram. My podcast is a documentary look at my weekly travels. And I would say start with episode 4. It's one show in China, I called it. I went and wrestled in China. And it was also a play on the words of the pornographic movie that China put out called One Night in China.
Rest in
Rest
peace.
in peace.
Yeah, sorry I brought that down.
It's okay. We
love
end on a
China.
low note in general.
It's not a Nobodies episode if we don't go on something about death.
Yeah.
And
See, you brought it home.
I made a children's book if someone wants a children's book.
I'm buying it for my niece.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Here we go. Done.
Is it about wrestling?
It's about me wrestling as a little kid.
That's so cute!
ColtMerch.com.
I'm at Ariel Italic at all the places.
At the Lady Burrica.
I'm cold because it's cold in Hammerstein Ballroom. I dress slutty and I now regret it.
Host, don't get cold.
Hosts don't get cold.
I've got, yeah.
Baby's first walk.
Go for it. Oh, no.
You got this.